one of the all-time best at the position in terms of playing it at a high level and being a two-way threat. And we're seeing this guy play as well as possible. Talking about Lamar Jackson, so we needed to get with the latest performance of Lamar's in the books. Had to get this man's 2 cents on the subject. He's Michael Vick. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing great, Rich. How about yourself?
I'm great, Mike. I give you the floor
Good.
on the latest of Lamar, what you think of when you see him play.
Oh, man, I just see excitement. I see a guy who's dynamic in his own right, plays the position from a cerebral standpoint, and then when the defense breaks down, he makes them pay. And a guy who's playing in the offense that's built around him and allowing him the opportunity to be great, at such a young age. And it's only going to give him confidence moving forward. This team is going to be good for a long time. And as long as they keep this coaching staff together, this team can compete for a Super Bowl for years on end.
So let's see. I've never asked you this. When you were starting out, did you hear people say that you shouldn't be a quarterback? You should be playing other positions. Did you hear that too?
Ironically, Rich, no one ever told me that. My high school coach made it clear to the staff at Virginia Tech that I was to play quarterback, and I think people seen my abilities and what I could do. My arm was strong, and I could push the ball down the field even when I was young. So I never had to deal with, the scrutiny of not being able to be a quarterback when I was young and having to play out of my position. I don't necessarily think or know if that was the case for Lamar. I know, some people may have uttered that, but I never thought that NFL scouts would tend to believe that this guy should be a receiver or running back. I just don't know if that's true based on what he put on tape in college.
Well, I know for a fact, Michael, that there were some evaluators that were knocking on the door of the national scouts who handle the combine to say we should maybe see if he'll do wide receiver drills. I don't know if he was ever asked
Rich,
to do that, but there were.
And Rich, this is my thing, Rich. If you are a scout, if you are a player personnel, and you cut on the film and watch Lamar Jackson in college running Bobby Petrino's offense, how could you even fix your mouth to think that he should be a receiver? Even if he was to fall in the 4th or 5th round, Rich, somebody gets lucky, So it's not a reason to believe or think that this guy could not play the quarterback position if you watch the tape and you watch it thoroughly. And that's why I find it hard to believe. Well, I can see why people can, look at it and say, okay, he can be a receiver. You can place him outside because he had the speed. But, man, if I was a general manager, if it wasn't the 1st round, if it was the 6th round, I want Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and I just remember that draft night, too, where the Saints traded up into the 1st round, and we thought, sitting on the draft set, okay, it looks like Sean Payton is looking over the steering wheel and wants to get his guy once Drew Brees is gone. Instead, they traded up for Davenport, a pass rusher. And we were all sitting there that draft night until Ozzie Newsome decided to trade into the 1st round for the last pick and snagged him. And I'm wondering if all that does feed into his fire that leads to a guy doing what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And I made the comparison a couple weeks ago on Undisputed. I felt like, when I think about Lamar Jackson, his motivation, where does it come from? Of course he loves football. Of course he wants to be great. But at the end of the day, that guy had to sit in humiliation in front of his mom, in front of his family, and be the last guy taken in the 1st round. And if that doesn't fuel your fire, what does? And just think Aaron Rodgers was one of the guys who he was passed up, as the draft went on. And it fueled his fire for a long time until he finally won the Super Bowl. And you can see it in his play. So that's what you're going to get from Lamar moving forward. You're going to get a guy that's motivated, hungry, determined, and willing to do whatever it takes to will his team to win each and every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday.
Mike Vick here on The Rich Eisen Show. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Mike Vick. Take me inside your conversations with Lamar. What have you talked with him about over the years?
Oh man, Rich, when Lamar was in college, I remember our conversations, but I don't really recollect what was said. I always remember just telling him that when he got to the NFL, to just play his game. And if he played his game, that the game would be fairly easy for him. Most importantly, learn the playbook. Let your natural abilities show. And that's all I can remember telling him. Just play your game, be yourself, and you know, you learn the offense first, and then you go from there. And, you know, Lamar was – one thing I can say about Lamar is that when we used to talk, he used to just listen. He wouldn't say too much. He would just soak in every word. And this is when he was, you know, in his sophomore, junior year at Louisville. And talking to one of his coaches last night, James Urban, who was his quarterback coach, he just told me, like, Lamar's a guru. He has a photographic memory. He studies. He's first one in, last one out. All the good qualities of a quarterback. And those are the things that I told him he needed to be. And, man, he's doing it.
And so what when you see his game, would you say, okay, I'll admit that's better than what I was able to do?
Yeah, I think our game is similar based on what it looks like. When a play breaks down, Lamar can get freaky outside the pocket, and he can make the defense pay if they get out of position. That's the similarity. But I think what makes him better is that the offense that he plays in is suited for, you know, his skill set and for what he can bring to the table and how he can take advantage of the defense, manipulate it. And when it's built around you that way, you know, sky's the limit because you have so many options and things that you can do to complement, you know, what the offense is trying to do and take advantage of what the defense is doing to try to stop you and negate what you're doing. And it's just it's an amazing package that they have, and it's downhill, it's heavy run game, then the play action, then they spread you out. So I just say the system is better than any system I've probably ever played in to take advantage of what I did. I played in some good systems, but his is by far suited for his game to take advantage of the edge.
Well, the question is, and I don't mean this to maybe carp on Dan Reeves, who was your coach, but he was old school.
Dan was amazing.
No, I want to, because I guess, again, I would love to compare that too, because John Harbaugh is a guy who has totally reconfigured what they were doing with Flacco, and Reeves was your guy. Did he do that for you too? Dan?
You said, was it good for me?
No, yeah, did Reeves?
Yeah, Dan was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan allowed me to, you know, do the things that I like to do. And it was in my second year, you know, quarterback draws, quarterback sweeps, quarterback counters. Took advantage of my running ability and mixed it with the passing game and made me the complete quarterback. He put me in a position to succeed. He didn't put me in a position where I was going to be in harm's way. And the things that I could do with my legs, he brought it out. And he brought it out naturally. And it was unfortunate that I only had Dan for 2002 and 2003, and then he was gone. But I really liked the progression that he was making within our offense. And he was dedicated to changing it and building an offense around me. So in my second year, when I was, you know, at my best, when I was young and fresh, he was doing the right things to keep me on track and help us win football games. So a lot of credit to Dan.
Michael Vick here on the Rich Eisen Show. Are you Mike or Michael? What are you going by as now these days?
You can call me Mike. You can call me Michael. It don't matter. Okay. You know, if you say the name and you in my presence, then I'm gonna turn around and look. So
okay, very good.
Let's just stick with Michael for right now.
All
the
right.
name my mom gave me.
You got it. Michael Vick here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Yep.
I want to play for you Mark Ingram after last night's game. Okay, Michael.
Okay.
This is what Ingram, because I think you might have been traveling back to the Midwest. This is what Ingram had to say again when he was brought up, when asked if Lamar was the MVP. This is what he had to say.
Said about Lamar last week after 5 touchdown passes, 95 yards rushing. What would you have to say about him this week?
Come see me, LJ, MVP. If you got a problem, come see me. Just run that back from last week. That's all I'm going to say. Man, people been trying me, but they can't validate their opinions. So, LJ for MVP.
What does that tell you about the way he's won over the locker room, Michael?
Man, you know what? Ironically, I'm sitting here looking at the screen in the airport and marking him on the screen, looking like he's reiterating what he said last night.
That's it?
It says a lot, man. When you talk to some of the guys and the people within the organization, he's gained their trust. You know, he's gained the trust of the locker room, the players around him, the coaches, and it looks like they're having fun. And it's easy to have fun when you're winning. You're always going to be tested when you're losing, but you got to enjoy the ride. You got to enjoy what comes along with playing in the National Football League. It's a lot of heartbreak. You know, it's a lot of hurt. And when the good is good, you got to enjoy it. And I think Lamar brings a great deal of character, charisma to the table, and it shows within everybody on that locker room and everybody in the locker room and everyone on the sideline, you know, whether it's going good or bad.
So crystal ball it for me, Michael. How does this season wind up for Lamar, personally and team-wise? What do you think?
Personally, for him, I think if he continues at this pace, you know, he'll rush for well over 1,000 yards. He'll throw for over 3,000. That's an amazing season within itself. He'll make the Pro Bowl, and he'll be playing in the playoffs, most importantly, and have an opportunity to compete for the Super Bowl. And there's nothing better than that. There's no greater accomplishment than that. And ultimately, I think, you know, I'll say this, he could be the MVP of this 2019 season. And it'll be great for him. I'm pretty sure that's not something that's in his sights. I would think that the Super Bowl is more important, but the sky's the limit for this guy. And if this team makes it to the Super Bowl and they overcome all odds, then, you know, good luck, you know, for any team that has to compete with them in the NFC.
Yeah, I just did the quick math. He needs 263 yards to break your single-season record for most rushing yards by a quarterback. Do you think he gets that?
Yeah, you can consider that done. I mean, in watching them against the Rams last night, the way he gets on the edge and the way they run the football downhill and then the things that they hit you with, it is scary. The offense is, you know, predicated to putting pressure on the defense nonstop, whether in the run game or the pass game, and it's evident. I've seen it last night firsthand.
I hate to break it to you, my math skills are terrible. It's 163 yards, actually, is what he needs, Michael. I mean,
yeah,
boy.
He's right around the corner.
Yeah, that's right. He's
right around the corner.
He sure is. And then last one for you. Which team that's out there? It could be the team that's coming in his house this weekend in the Niners. Which team or the team that he did carve up and he's got to maybe beat a second time in the Patriots. Which team is best equipped to knock him out if he sees him in January? Or February?
Well, I would always say the New England Patriots because I always believe in their scheme and what they do. I think they'll be the toughest challenge. And defense ranked number one right now holds a lot of merit. And when you look at the San Francisco 49ers and what I've seen them do the other night versus the Green Bay Packers was a stunning performance. And I didn't know they was that stout up front. And they had good corners and good linebackers. And, you know, what they do on offense with Kyle Shanahan speaks for itself. It's the same thing, you know, that Cal was able to produce in Atlanta and made Matt Ryan look, you know, like a MVP caliber, you know, quarterback, and that's what he was. And he's doing the same thing with Jimmy G. So I think the 49ers got a chance. I think the Patriots got a chance, but it's all going to be predicated on what their scheme is equipped to do and how they plan to stop Lamar. No one has been able to do it as of yet, and I'm waiting to see somebody, you know, put the puzzle together.
Michael,
if they can.
Michael, thanks for the time. Travel safe. We'll chat down the line, okay?
All right. Appreciate it.
Always. Thank you. That's Michael Vick, at Mike Vick on both Twitter and Instagram, Fox Sports FS1 analyst right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.